The Empire's fleet had always ruled the outer galaxies without question. Its massive warships, each the size of a small moon, patrolled the star lanes with quiet authority. Nothing had ever threatened them, until today. Captain Varnus stood on the bridge of the flagship Oblivion, staring at the sensors with disbelief. "Report," he barked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Sir, we are detecting an unidentified warship entering the sector." His aide replied, his voice trembling. "It's human," Varnus laughed nervously. "Human? That's impossible. Humanity was scattered. Their fleets were destroyed centuries ago." The sensor officer swiveled in his chair, pointing at the holographic display. "Sir, it's approaching fast. Shields intact, weapons armed. This is no ragged survivor. It's a warship, and it's bigger than any human vessel we've seen." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. For the first time in generations, the Empire's officers felt something close to fear. Not dread, not worry, real fear. Varnus swallowed hard. "Raise the alarm across the fleet. Prepare for battle, but keep in mind, never underestimate them." Far away in the cold emptiness of space, the human warship glided smoothly. Its black hull reflected the distant stars like shards of broken glass. There were no markings, no insignia, just power. Every system hummed with efficiency, and the crew moved as one, silent and precise. Commander Lena Hart, standing at the human ship's command console, watched the Empire's fleet appear on her screens. She did not flinch. Years of training, years of surviving against impossible odds had prepared her for this moment. "They don't know we exist," Lena murmured to her second-in-command, Kale. "And they never will, until we make them see us." Kale nodded, eyes scanning the data. "Their fleet is enormous, Commander. Thousands of vessels, each armed to the teeth." Lena's lips curved in a small, confident smile. "Exactly. And none of them has ever faced a human warship like this." Back on the Oblivion, the Empire's War Council convened. Holograms of planets, fleets, and star lanes filled the room. Varnus stood among the generals, feeling the weight of their stares. "We've received a distressing report," General Trask began. "A warship, human in origin, has entered Imperial space. Sensors confirm full combat readiness. It is unlike anything recorded." Varnus clenched his fists. "How is that possible? Humanity should be extinct." "Sir," another officer spoke quickly, "it is not only alive. It is organized, advanced, and its technology exceeds our records by decades." A murmur ran through the council. The Empire had faced rebellions, rogue fleets, and alien raiders, but never had it faced a threat that seemed almost impossible. Meanwhile, the human ship drifted closer to the outer defenses. Its engines emitted no sound. Its hull shimmered faintly, cloaking it from most sensors. Yet the Empire's most advanced instruments had caught a glimpse. That glimpse was enough. On the human bridge, Lena activated a single holographic screen. "Target their patrol ships. Disable them silently. We need the Empire to know we are here, but not yet understand how strong we are." The first strike was precise. Imperial patrols blinked out of existence one by one, vaporized before any warning could reach their fleet. Back on the Oblivion, alarms screamed. Varnus slammed his fist on the console. How could this happen? "Their shields are impervious." "Sir," the tactical officer stammered, "they're using some kind of adaptive energy. Our weapons can't penetrate it. None of our systems can keep up." The panic spread. Orders flew, but hesitation had already taken root. Generals argued, officers froze, and the human warship continued its silent advance. On board, Lena observed their confusion with cold calculation. "The Empire always underestimates humans," she said softly. "They think we are weak, but we are survivors. We adapt, and now they will learn." As the Oblivion prepared its fleet for what it hoped would be a warning strike, Lena initiated the next phase. Her crew moved with precision, each action calculated to maximize chaos without giving away their true strength. Suddenly, the Empire's communications channels filled with static, then a single message, clear and unafraid. "This is humanity. You thought we were gone. You were wrong. Stand down, or face extinction." The room went silent. No one had expected words. Not commands, not warnings, words. Varnus felt a cold sweat on his brow. He knew then that the battle ahead would not just be one of ships and weapons. It would be a battle of fear, strategy, and sheer willpower. Somewhere deep in the human ship, Lena watched the stars. She did not smile, not yet. This was only the beginning. The Empire's fleet was in chaos. Alarms screamed across the bridge of every ship. Officers shouted orders that could not be obeyed fast enough. Each human patrol destroyed only deepened the fear, proving that this was no ordinary vessel. Captain Varnus paced on the Oblivion's command deck. "How can one ship, just one, defeat our patrol so easily?" he demanded. "This is impossible." General Trask, standing stiffly beside him, shook his head. "It is not impossible. It is human. That is all we know, and that is enough to terrify us." The Empire's War Council had gathered in the Oblivion's main hall, projecting holograms of the human ship and their fleet's defensive grid. Every weapon, every strategy, every protocol had been analyzed, and all failed in theory and practice. "Sir," said Lieutenant Core, his voice trembling, "our shields, our weapons. Nothing works. It's like they anticipate us before we even act." Varnus rubbed his temples. "Then we fight smarter. Use unpredictability. Split the fleet, surround it." His words faded as alarms blared again. Another patrol, another squadron vanished before reaching the coordinates. Far away, Commander Lena Hart watched from her bridge, eyes calm and calculating. "They still do not understand," she said. "They cannot imagine a human ship operating like this." Kale, her second in command, glanced at the display. "We are close to their core systems. Are you sure about this, Commander?" Lena's fingers danced over the controls. "This is the moment. The Empire's fear is a weapon. We push them. We observe. And they break themselves from within." Back in the Oblivion, panic had become something tangible, a physical weight pressing down on every officer. They were trained for battle, for the unexpected, but this was beyond any calculation. Their entire strategy relied on overwhelming force. Now one ship proved that force alone meant nothing. Captain Varnus forced himself to speak. "Prepare the first strike group. Target their engines. Disable the ship. If we cannot win by firepower, we win by crippling them." The fleet's ships moved cautiously, forming an arc around the human warship. Every maneuver was precise, calculated, meant to trap, to crush, to destroy, and yet the human vessel seemed to move as if it knew their plans before they did. On board the human ship, Lena observed each Imperial move. "Adjust shields," she said. "Redirect energy to the forward plasma arrays. Let them think they are cornering us. The closer they come, the more they reveal." Kale looked up at her, uneasy. "They are moving like they can see our minds." Lena's lips pressed together. "Not our minds. Our instincts. Humanity survives because we see patterns where others see chaos. That is our advantage." The first clash erupted near a dense asteroid field. The Empire's fleets fired everything they had, beams of energy slicing through space, missiles streaking across the void. But the human warship glided through it as if it were dancing, dodging, absorbing, redirecting energy without a sound. Varnus's face went pale as reports came in. "Shields at 40%. 10% gone. How is this possible?" General Trask's voice trembled. "It is human. That is all I can say." Each lost ship sent waves of panic through the fleet. Orders became desperate. Officers tried to compensate, but hesitation had taken hold. The human ship exploited it with surgical precision, attacking weak points that no one had even considered vulnerable. Meanwhile, Lena's crew worked silently. They did not shout, they did not panic, they did not hesitate. Every move was perfect practice, designed to teach the Empire the harshest lesson. Humans were not prey. Humans were hunters. The Empire's flagship, the Oblivion, sent a message: surrender or be destroyed. It was meant to intimidate. It was meant to project confidence. Instead, it revealed fear. Lena studied the message, then pressed a single button. The reply went across all Imperial channels, calm, clear, and deliberate. "We do not surrender. We do not negotiate. You have not faced humans before. Now you will." The Empire froze. Officers stared at their consoles. General Trask whispered, "What? What do they mean?" Varnus's jaw tightened. "It means war. Totalva, and we are not ready." The human warship struck again, this time at the fleet's command nodes. Communications went dark. Subfleets were cut off from each other. Confusion spread like wildfire, and in every Imperial heart, fear grew into something they could no longer deny. Lena leaned back, watching the Empire unravel before her. They think size and technology make them invincible, she said softly. We are about to show them the truth. Kale's eyes were wide. Commander, if we push further, can we survive? Lena's gaze was steady. We survive because they underestimate us. And that is how humans always survive. In the distance, the Oblivion attempted one last maneuver, a desperate, massive attack to crush the human ship. But the humans anticipated it. The strike was deflected, their defenses too advanced, their movements too unpredictable. For the first time in centuries, the Empire felt its foundation tremble. And deep inside the flagship, Varnus realized a terrifying truth. This was not just a battle for territory. This was a battle for the Empire's belief in its own invincibility. Somewhere, in the silence of space, Lena Hart allowed herself a small smile. The Empire was beginning to understand. The humans were back, and they were nothing like anyone had imagined. The Empire's fleet reeled in disarray. Messages bounced through their channels, distorted by interference, confusion, and sheer terror. Ships that were supposed to coordinate attacks moved blindly, some retreating without orders, others colliding with asteroids in their panic. Captain Varnus slammed his fist on the bridge console. Form ranks. Target their engines again. Don't let them escape. The tactical officer's voice trembled. Sir, all our data says it's useless. Every attack is anticipated, every maneuver predicted. Varnus gritted his teeth. Then, we fight differently. We improvise. But improvisation meant chaos, and in the midst of chaos, the humans thrived. On board the human warship, Commander Lena Hart studied the Empire's movements like a general reading a map of enemy thoughts. They are losing control, she said softly. Every panic, every hesitation, every misstep is a tool for us. Kyle, initiate Phase 2. Kyle nodded, fingers flying over the controls. Phase 2, engaged. Cloaking and decoy units activated. Multiple projections ready. Suddenly, the Empire's sensors went mad. The human ship seemed to split into 5 separate vessels, moving in perfect formation. Some flared bright, then vanished. Others struck at isolated squadrons with surgical precision. Impossible, yelled General Trask. They can't multiply. They aren't multiplying, Varnus muttered, panic creeping into his voice. They are projecting illusions, ghosts, decoys. We cannot trust what we see. Across the Empire's fleet, coordination broke completely. Officers shouted contradictory orders. Squadrons clashed with each other, mistaking their allies for the enemy. The human ship, singular yet appearing as many, weaved through the chaos effortlessly. Lena's voice on the bridge was calm, precise. Let them unravel themselves. Humans adapt. Humans survive. The more they panic, the stronger our advantage becomes. Kyle leaned forward. Commander, the Empire's flagship is preparing a massive plasma strike. If it hits, it could destroy everything in a 500-kilometer radius. Lena's gaze narrowed. Then we redirect it. Not to waste energy. Not to kill, yet. But to teach them that humans are not predictable. Kyle, open the energy shields at calculated intervals. Let their weapons fire into empty space. Back on the Oblivion, the flagship's plasma arrays roared to life. The Empire's fleet braced for impact, but their shots passed harmlessly through empty void where their targets should have been. Panic turned into rage. They're playing with us, shouted Varnus. They're mocking us. General Trask's hands shook. No, they're demonstrating superiority. This is not mockery. This is strategy. The Empire's officers realized too late that they were losing not just the battle, but control. Their pride, arrogance, and overconfidence had blinded them. One human ship, with a handful of crew, was dismantling centuries of Imperial dominance. In the distance, Lena observed the chaos. Prepare Phase 3, she said. It's time they understand humanity's resilience. Kale's fingers hovered over the console. Phase 3, Commander? Are we ready to escalate? Lena's eyes were cold and unyielding. We are always ready, but escalation does not mean destruction. It means revelation. Let them see the truth. Let them fear what they cannot understand. Across the Empire, communication lines began failing. The holograms flickered and warped. Orders from the top generals were ignored or misinterpreted. Imperial squadrons collided or drifted into trap zones. Every attempt at organized attack fell apart before it began. Varnus struggled to maintain control. Focus on the central core. Aim all firepower there. The human ship, smooth as shadow in space, did not attack yet. Instead, it drifted closer, sending only a message through the Empire's channels. You think yourselves invincible. You think your fleets, your weapons, your technology make you supreme. You are wrong. Humans adapt. Humans endure. Humans will prevail. The message hung across the Empire's comms like a dark cloud. Officers stared at their consoles, frozen. Generals whispered among themselves. Fear and disbelief etched into every face. On the human ship, Lena's crew prepared the next maneuver. Kale initiated silent maneuvers, cloaking and precise targeting of key Imperial nodes. The humans were not just fighting, they were teaching. Every strike, every illusion, every missed attack built a lesson in fear, respect, and inevitability. Back on the Oblivion, Varnus finally realized it. They're not just a warship, they are a statement, a warning. General Trask's voice was a whisper. A statement that humans are unstoppable? Varnus looked at the view screen, at the single dark silhouette moving calmly through the vast field of burning and scattered Imperial ships. Yes, he said, voice low and tense. Unstoppable, and we may not survive this lesson. Lena watched the Oblivion's bridge through sensors. They are learning too slowly. Let them continue. By the time they realize, it will be too late. Kyle leaned back, impressed despite himself. Humans have returned, and the galaxy is about to change forever. And as the Empire's pride began to crumble, as panic turned to despair, Lena Hart allowed herself a quiet thought. The humans had not come for war. Not yet. They had come to show the universe something it had forgotten, something it had underestimated for centuries. They had come to remind the stars that humanity survived against all odds, and that one human warship, one crew, one mind, one mission, could change the fate of an entire galaxy. The Empire's fleet was breaking apart. Ships drifted aimlessly, some damaged, some destroyed, and some simply lost in the void. The panic on the Oblivion's bridge was palpable. Officers shouted, generals argued, and fear gripped every heart. Captain Varnus gritted his teeth. We cannot let one ship dictate our fate. Deploy drones, launch boarding parties, do anything to stop them. Lieutenant Kor's face was pale. Sir, nothing works. Every drone is neutralized before launch. Every attempt at boarding, impossible. They anticipate us at every turn. Varnus felt a cold sweat. The Empire had fought countless wars, yet never had it faced an enemy like this. One human warship, with a crew of perhaps 100, had turned their mighty fleet into chaos. Across the void, Lena Hart watched with calm precision. Phase 4, she said. Kyle, initiate planetary observation. Let's see where they hide their weakness, or if they even have one. Kyle's fingers danced across the controls. Scanning Imperial cores now. Nothing. Shields are impenetrable, but we can see their command networks. Vulnerable. Inefficient. Lena nodded. Good. We will strike at the mind of their fleet, not just their bodies. Confusion is powerful, but control is even better. Back on the Oblivion, Varnus and Trask studied the star maps. We have no control, Trask admitted, voice tight. We can't predict their movements. We can't communicate properly. It's like they are everywhere at once. They are not everywhere, Varnus snapped. They are one ship, one crew. But they move with perfection. Humans, they adapt faster than anything we've known. The first signals of human strategy reached the Empire's inner systems. Supply routes, command nodes, and auxiliary. Fleets were subtly disabled, not destroyed, leaving the Empire unable to regroup. It was not just attack. It was precision sabotage. On the human warship, Lena's face remained calm. We must teach them to respect humanity, Kale. not through destruction, but through inevitability. Let them see that resistance is futile. Kale frowned. Commander, if they realize their vulnerability, they might surrender or retaliate more aggressively. Lena's eyes were sharp. Then they will learn the lesson fully. Surrender without understanding is worthless. Fear and comprehension together are the true tools of survival. The Empire tried one last coordinated strike. Thousands of ships converged on the human vessel, a wall of fire and energy meant to crush it at once. But Lena had already anticipated it. Cloaking, decoy projections, and rapid evasive maneuvers turned their attack into a spectacle of chaos. Beams passed harmlessly through empty space. Missiles detonated far from their target. Every Imperial command grew more desperate. "Sir, the humans," one officer gasped. "They are not just dodging, they are controlling the battlefield." Varnus clenched his fists. "Impossible, no single ship could." His words trailed off as the fleet faltered again. Lena activated another layer of Phase 4. "Target their communications," she ordered. "Distort their signals, make them doubt each other. Humans survive because they think fast. Make them hesitate and we control them." Across the Empire's fleet, channels filled with static. Orders were misinterpreted. Squadrons stopped mid-flight, unsure whether commands were real or manipulated. The human warship was silent, almost invisible, yet it had complete dominance over the battle. Varnus's face was pale. "They are ghosts," he whispered. "They are everywhere and nowhere at once." On the human bridge, Lena leaned forward. "They will remember this day," she said quietly. "Not for the destruction we cause, but for the lesson. Humans endure, humans adapt, humans conquer without needing to destroy everything in their path." Kale glanced at the monitors. "They've begun retreating in parts, sir. Entire fleets are pulling back without orders. Some are surrendering control to save their lives." Lena nodded. "Good. Let them feel the weight of their pride crumbling. Let them taste defeat without knowing the source. By the time they understand, it will be too late." Varnus looked out at the emptying space where his fleet once ruled with absolute confidence. "We underestimated them," he admitted. "And now, we pay the price." Trask placed a hand on his shoulder. "It's not just the ships, Varnus. It's their mind, their strategy. Humanity itself." Lena allowed herself a small smile, though her expression remained calm. The Empire thought it fought a war of weapons. Humans fought a war of perception. Every strike, every move, every illusion was designed to teach respect, not just destruction. In the vast silence of space, the human ship drifted gracefully. It was alone, yet unstoppable. One vessel, one crew, one mission. And the galaxy had begun to remember why humans could never be dismissed. The Empire's fleet, once a symbol of absolute power, was broken in ways not even battle could explain. Fear, confusion, and awe had replaced confidence. The humans had returned, not as conquerors, but as a force of inevitability. And somewhere deep in the black void, Lena Hart whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. The galaxy will remember humanity, not as prey, but as rulers of survival." The Empire's fleet had never felt so vulnerable. Ships that once dominated star lanes now drifted, damaged or destroyed. Officers whispered fears aloud. Generals argued about strategies that had failed before they began. And Captain Varnus felt a weight pressing down on his chest. The realization that the humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable. On board the human warship, Commander Lena Hart studied the Imperial fleet's movements. "Phase 5 begins," she said, her voice calm, unshakable. "Kyle, ready the precision strikes. Target their command centers. Disable their systems without destroying the population. Let them understand what real power looks like." Kale nodded, fingers flying over the controls. "Strikes ready, Commander. All systems optimal. Cloaking active." Lena's eyes scanned the holographic display of the Imperial fleet. "We do not attack recklessly. Every move must teach. Every strike must demonstrate superiority. Humans survive by knowing when to fight, when to teach, and when to dominate silently." Back on the Oblivion, Captain Varnus barked orders that went unanswered. The Empire's fleet, though large, had become fragmented. Squadrons ignored commands, communications faltered, and the humans struck like shadows, everywhere and nowhere at once. "Sir, they are moving. Too fast, too coordinated, Lieutenant Core said, voice shaking. We cannot anticipate them. Every attack fails. Every defense fails. It's impossible. Varnus clenched his fists. Impossible. Then we adapt. We fight differently. Focus all firepower on one point. Crush them. On the human ship, Lena watched their desperation. They do not understand yet. They think strength is numbers, weapons, and size. But humans survive because we adapt faster than anyone else. And now they will see what true adaptability is. The first strike of Phase 5 was subtle. Imperial command nodes blinked out one by one, not destroyed but paralyzed. Fleet-wide communications went dark. Squadrons lost coordination, drifting apart into the void. Panic spread like wildfire. Varnus slammed his fist on the console. Report, why are systems failing? Who is doing this? General Trask's voice was tight. Sir, it is them. The humans, they are controlling the flow of battle without firing a shot. Lena's voice remained calm on the human bridge. Observe their panic. Every hesitation, every misstep, every futile order strengthens our advantage. We do not destroy, we control. Kale activated the next phase. Decoy projections spread across the battlefield, masking the true human ship. Imperial squadrons fired at ghosts while the real vessel struck at vital systems, disabling shields and engines. Ships collided, some exploding in silent bursts, others drifting helpless. Sir, entire squadrons are surrendering control to save themselves, a junior officer said, voice trembling. They are giving up without even being hit. Varnus felt rage mixed with fear. No, we are the Empire. We do not surrender. Focus on the human ship. Destroy it! The humans anticipated it. Lena initiated rapid maneuvers, cloaking, and redirection of energy shields. The Oblivion's plasma arrays passed through empty space again, striking nothing. Every attempt to trap or crush the humans failed spectacularly. Impossible, Trask shouted. No single ship could. They are not just a ship, Varnus admitted, voice low and tense. They are a statement, a demonstration of humanity itself. The human vessel struck at the Empire's auxiliary networks next, shutting down power, navigation, and weapons control for entire regions. Ships floated helplessly in space. The Empire's pride had collapsed. Their control had vanished. Lena allowed herself a small smile. They will remember this day, she said quietly. Not because we destroyed them, but because we showed them the cost of underestimating humans. Kale leaned back, eyes wide. Commander, the Empire may never recover from this. Lena's gaze was steady. It does not matter. They will rebuild, yes, but the lesson endures. Humanity survives, humanity thrives, and they will never forget it. Back on the Oblivion, Captain Varnus realized the bitter truth. The humans were not just attacking, they were teaching, dominating, and surviving in ways no one had imagined. Their strategies, precision, and adaptability had shattered centuries of Imperial confidence. Across the battlefield, the Imperial fleet was in disarray. Ships floated lifelessly, some damaged, some lost, all trembling under the silent, unyielding control of the human warship. Fear, respect, and awe replaced arrogance and overconfidence. Lena studied the scene, calm and composed. One lesson remains, she whispered. One message. We survive, we endure. Humanity is not a memory. We are a force, and the galaxy will remember. Kale glanced at her, awed. Commander, do we press the attack or leave them to rebuild? Lena's eyes shone with determination. We do not need to crush them entirely. We need them to remember us. Humans survive not because we destroy everything, but because we endure. This is our gift, and our warning. The human ship drifted through the field of chaos, untouched, unbroken, unstoppable. One vessel, one crew, one mission, and the galaxy had learned a truth it had long forgotten. Humans were survivors, warriors and teachers of inevitability. Varnus stood on the Oblivion's bridge, staring at the void. We have fought countless battles, yet one human ship has undone centuries of dominance. How is this possible? Trask's voice was quiet, almost reverent. Because humans are something else entirely. They survive. They adapt. They conquer without even trying to destroy everything. Somewhere in the endless black of space, Lena Hart whispered to herself, this is only the beginning. Humanity will not hide. Humanity will not kneel. The stars will remember us, not as prey, not as weaklings, but as the future. The Empire's fleet lay in ruin. What had once been a symbol of unstoppable power was now a shattered testament to misjudgment. Ships floated, damaged or dead, some helplessly drifting into the void. Officers whispered to themselves. Generals stared at the maps, and Captain Varnus felt the weight of centuries of pride collapse in his chest. On board the human warship, Commander Lena Hart studied the battlefield with calm precision. "Phase 6, she said softly. "The final lesson." Kale looked at her, tense. "Commander, are we ready for this? This will change everything." Lena's gaze was steady. "We have always been ready. Humans endure because we anticipate, adapt, and act decisively. This is the moment we show them the truth about humanity." The human ship moved silently, cloaked yet perfectly coordinated. Imperial squadrons scrambled, trying to reorganize, but it was too late. Communications were fractured. Ships were crippled, and the fear of the unknown had taken root deep in every officer's heart. Captain Varnus stood on the Oblivion's bridge, his face pale. "We underestimated them," he admitted aloud. "One ship, one crew, has undone everything we built." How is this possible?" General Trask's voice trembled. "They are humans. They survive. They adapt. They conquer. Without destroying everything. They show power in a way we've never known." Lena activated a series of precision strikes targeting the remaining command nodes and strategic points, not to annihilate, but to paralyze. Imperial fleets could not communicate effectively, and their leaders struggled to regain control. Every human action was a demonstration of control, discipline, and foresight. Kale's fingers danced across the controls. "Commander, the Empire's core fleet is attempting one last massive assault. Thousands of ships converging on us. This could overwhelm." Lena cut him off. "No. They cannot overwhelm what they cannot predict. Let them come. Every move they make will teach them the cost of underestimating humanity." As the Imperial fleets converged, the human ship executed flawless maneuvers, dodging attacks, redirecting energy, and disabling weapons with surgical precision. Every Imperial strike was wasted, every maneuver predicted and countered. One by one, the Empire's fleets faltered. Varnus realized the truth, his voice low and defeated. "They are not just a ship. They are a force, a lesson. Humanity itself is the weapon." Across the void, Lena sent one final message to the Empire, calm, clear, and undeniable. "We do not seek to destroy you. We do not seek to rule you, but we will never be underestimated. Humanity survives. Humanity adapts. Humanity prevails. Learn this truth or you will suffer the consequences next time." Silence followed. The message echoed across every channel, every fleet, every officer. The Empire's leaders stared at the void, realizing that no amount of technology, pride, or arrogance could match the determination and adaptability of humanity. Varnus sank into his chair. "The humans, they are beyond anything we imagined. They survived. They endured. And now we know the cost of underestimating them." On the human warship, Lena Hart allowed herself the smallest of smiles. The Empire would rebuild, yes, but they would never forget this day. They would never forget humanity's return, and the galaxy would remember that humans were not prey, not weak, not irrelevant. They were a force of survival, ingenuity, and unstoppable willpower. Kale glanced at her, awe in his eyes. "Commander, we've done it. The Empire, they know. They understand now." Lena's gaze swept over the silent, drifting fleets of the Empire. "Yes," she said softly. "They understand. And humanity will always be ready. They will remember this lesson for centuries. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity does not break. Humanity survives." Far across the galaxy, the Empire's ships began to retreat, fractured and demoralized. The lesson had been delivered not with destruction, but with dominance, strategy, and undeniable proof of human resilience. Varnus, staring at the fading human warship, whispered, "We will never forget this. Humanity has returned and they are unstoppable." And in the cold silence of space, the lone human vessel glided forward, silent, powerful, and unyielding. The stars themselves seemed to bend to its presence. One crew, one mission, one truth. The galaxy had been reminded that humans were no longer to be dismissed, underestimated, or feared. They were to be respected, feared, and remembered. Lena Hart leaned back in her chair, her eyes reflecting the endless expanse of stars. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. Humanity survives, and the universe will never forget it.